Okay. Um, we are going to do the Manic Focus River Road breakdown. I'm going to do things a little differently from what I normally do. Normally, I just kind of go through it from scratch, and I don't know. I feel like people might get bored of me going through the drums and tweaking and doing a lot of that. So instead, just recording after the fact so I can just get through the flow, figure everything out, and then go back. And if you if people prefer me to do it from the very beginning, like the other ones, have the longer videos, then I can totally do that. But for now, let's take a listen at what I came up with, and then I'll give you my thoughts on how we were able to figure out. This song actually is not too complicated. It's very impressive how simple it is, but how good it is at the same time. So um, you'll also know, just to point out, I did add some of my own flavor to it, because usually when I do stuff like this, I want to try to deviate from the original, so it starts getting me to think about the song in a different way. Um, anyway, so it's about a minute, I think. I did more than that, but I'm just going to do a minute, and we'll start from there. So this section here is probably the closest to the actual bass that he has. So when we get to the basses, I might just go to this section. But really, he's using this same call bass and the same response bass essentially throughout the entire drop here. And there's a variance here, and there's variance in the intro. Also, I used a different bass for the intro, because I was trying to, again, deviate. The most important thing, as always is the case, is that the drums are really, really, really tight. So that's what's really raising the bar for this song. So I'm gonna unmute this, and you can already see where the start, intro, vocals, the vocal drop in the break, the build, and the drop. And the drop, you can see there's no deviation in the drums at all. There's some like kick, kick, kick. But like let's bring out this guy here. So you have the intro, right? Standard guitar stuff, bluesy. So guitar, and then there's two guitars was the lead, and then there's the reggae, dun, dun, dun. And then the bass. There's really no deviance here. So if you can copy this, then you can copy this. And it's the same thing. Drums same, bass is the same, less guitar, no guitar. It's a little guitar, yeah. And then there's vocals. That's what's really popping in. Yep, drums are basically the same. I changed the drums for mine just to give a different vibe. I think I've done that a couple times. Little changes and stuff just to give it like, hey, there's a change, there's like something different about this section than the other section. And then you have the build. Like nothing, just guitar, the down. Filter, build. That's a sample. I assume most people know what that's from. I actually don't remember. But I used to, uh-oh. I mean, that's a very classic 1990s hip-hop song or rap song. I know, I wish I remember the lyrics. It wouldn't be hard to find it. But that actually goes again. There's no difference here, right? Like all of these are the same. And these are kind of like the call. Uh-oh. That's the same bass as this. And then this is the response, which is a different bass. And then this, so if I help, it might actually help to color coordinate this for you. Right? These guys, for example, all the white ones are the same color, are the same base, and all these response guys are the same base. And then here, same thing, same thing. And then that's different. There we go. That's the guitar, subs, and bass dropping off. So the drums through every single section don't change. You have pieces that dip out. To give more space to make it more impactful when basses come drop in and out. And then, I mean, I'm not going to color coordinate all of these, but you get the idea. It's basically exactly the same. So let's do the first four. And this one, they add the lead, right? The do, right? And then here. Exactly the same stuff, except they take out the lead now. The lead was his part. It's had its thing. Now it's the vocals. This is the setup with nothing. This is with the lead. This is with the vocals. I think they also added more guitar. Yeah. Yeah, there's a guitar in this one too. And then in the end, same vibe as this, just little alterations. Really is I mean, that's the arrangement. It's really simple. I guess I could be like lead, right? Instead of energy change, you'd be like vocals again. But that's kind of how straightforward. Um, as far as like copying the bass, so I did several different versions, and when I share this project, I'm also going to share the patches individually. I wanted to create more packages, which was kind of the point. I also wanted to deviate a little bit to create more fun stuff. Let's get rid of that. So we're gonna have some fun stuff, little growls. But that's not part of the song, so I'll save that for when I give out the patches. I think so. What really, I think here. There might actually be even less. Let's make the pretty straightforward. I use the envelope with the filter and a standard saw wave. It's definitely a saw wave. I added some pretty standard hyperdimension for little texture on the top end. I think I might actually get rid of the chorus, honestly. And then equalizer just to bring up the highs because the filter was cutting some of it off, and I still wanted a little bit in there. Compressor with single band. Oh wow, I usually do multi-band because where I changed it. Reverb. I think I'm gonna get rid of this too, honestly, because I'm just doing it in post. Yeah, this sounds better. Get rid of it on this one as well. Maybe we'll play with the chord. That's fine. Hey, wow. But yeah, it's not a very complicated patch. The envelope is just to make it really kind of like suck in. If that makes sense. It's like you can hear the filter like pull it, and then you know it's like kind of staccato, but still has some length to it. And then honestly, you could do whatever you want here. Like the equalizer is just to pull up some of this, and everything else is kind of like I was saying. It's like I think I might get rid of these. Also, I think this one's actually Father Funk's, and then I created one that was like, that's not this one. It's one of these that's kind of similar by accident. But I was going through his patches, and this is one I found, and I just modified a bunch of stuff. Well, not a bunch, enough stuff to make it sound more closer to what I want. If I did this, I'd probably multi-band and raise the gain. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is pretty close. Right? Look at this. Alright, so it helps to have this guy. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Thank you. Even this, I'm thinking, might still even lower the decay. maybe a little bit of this as well. It was in the middle, maybe. Or pretty close. Splitting hairs, but you can also add another filter at the end of the effects if you ended up deciding to add a bunch. So like I think on this one, I had a lot more fun with mine. There's a bunch more configurations. It sounds beefier, but it's a little less simple, and I think for this song it needs to be simple. Like, maybe that distortion is too much. Yeah, I don't know. I like that there's 3 different versions, which is kind of what if I don't have any vocals to work with at the moment. So in my mind, I'm like, that's part of the variance aside from the drums. Yeah, that sounds better. Yeah, mess with this guy a little bit. That sounds pretty cool, this one. Yeah, and post-processing, there's some just OTTs and shit. I think on both of these, a little bit more on this. I think maybe if this roar was in here, it wouldn't be as intense. Brings out the highs more. I guess it depends, like, if there was a lead here, I guess to give space, you would probably remove the roar, so it's less in your, this is less in your face, plus the leads will have highs to sort of balance out the track. And yeah, I think the drums, like, again, like I mentioned before, it's very straightforward. The arrangement is like nothing too crazy. It's just his drums are really, really well done. There are also some effects and stuff and like, you know, other instruments. I started kind of like deviating and doing my own instruments, but definitely guitar because I like that style. But there's some parts like during the builds and in between spaces. I think here as well probably has a riser. Yeah. So anyway, I'll put this project up. If you prefer me to do this in the future, where it's like just breaking down how the song is, more than happy to do that. If you prefer me going through, hi. If you prefer me going from the beginning and watching hours and hours, and that's cool with you, then I'll do that. Um, I could also probably reverse engineer some of these patches, but I feel like the patch, when we get to the patch session, I'm just gonna like do a whole video on each of the patches anyway. But yeah, let me know. Thanks.